Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Good evening, everybody. Keith Engel here, filling in for your regular host, Mac, here on the National Streaming Sports and the Professional Sports Show. Mac will be happy that I got the name of the show right tonight, I hope. James Martin is with me here so far. Maybe, there's Sonia's with us here. I didn't even see her pop in there. Good evening, Sonia. Sonia's with us as well.
Hi, guys. I was backstage during the theme song, but I guess you didn't see me.
I was reading so much on other things, and I apologize for that, Sonia.
No worries.
But we're glad you guys could join us. Mac is still laid up, and we wish him well. Hopefully, things are going well in his world, and he'll be back in his seat driving this train as our fearless leader sooner than later. Until then, we'll try to hold down the fort a little bit tonight. And we're on, obviously, the National Streaming Sports Roku channel. I've got it on all my streams. I know Bo Crouch, Jesus. Sorry about that. Bo Crouch, who couldn't join us tonight because of a bomb cyclone in Washington State. Maybe he'll pop in at some point, but he's sharing it to his. And I don't know, Sonia, I think you're sharing it to your page as well.
I am.
So you guys are seeing us in all our locations that we can get it to, and hopefully we'll have some fun tonight, and you guys can feel free to comment as well. And we'll get into some football. A lot of news in the NFL today with Joe Douglas getting fired. We've got, I wouldn't say a big football game tomorrow night, but we do have a football game tomorrow night. And so there's some other news in the NFL. And whatever else is going on that we want to talk about in professional sports. I've got a couple of notes. We might talk about some coaching situations. We can talk about, we don't want to lead with the Tyson fight, obviously, but maybe we can talk about it a little bit. I don't know about you guys. Actually, I'm going to lead with this because after watching that abomination, and forget about the fight, forget all about the fight, watching the production of this whole thing, the NFL has got to be shaking in their boots about Christmas Day. I got to tell you right now. What are your guys' thoughts about just Netflix production of this whole thing? It's terrible, no?
I saw so I'm going to be honest. I didn't even realize it was happening that night. We've been talking about it off and on for months. I didn't realize that was that specific night. But then when I saw people talking about it, I was like, okay, let me just see. But then before I could pull it up, I saw the streaming issues and I was like, I'm not going through that. It's just don't even worry about it. And I know that, like Max said, anybody can do a 40-second clip of them looking like they're doing what they're supposed to do. But when it comes time for the real thing, it just was not going to happen. So I didn't even bother. James, I saw you get ready to start. Did you try to even stream this?
Yeah, I don't even subscribe to Netflix anymore like I used to, and I decided to do it for a month, and because of the fight. And so, I was just interested. There's something in the back of my head said, this is Tyson. I still want to at least see what he has left. And, I knew it wasn't going to be good, but I said, let me just try. And the production, the commentation, everything was just abysmal. It was just not good. And I was just like so disappointed because I watched Netflix before in the past for like comedy specials and for other things like that, and they've been great. But this particular deal in regards to the fight, man, it was just bad. As a young kid, like I say, this is nasty work.
I got to say, for a live event, I didn't tune in all night. I mean, I popped in and out, and I didn't realize. I think even when I wasn't on it, it was still buffering, because when I turned on the fight, I watched the women's fight before it, which was pretty good actually, the fight itself. But then they got in the ring, and I happened to be scrolling through Facebook, and a couple of my followers were streaming it from their Facebook, and the fight was about to start before the women were even getting done. So I was like an hour behind on my Netflix. It was crazy.
Yes. So you had to like, I just rewound the fight because it did it paused. Yeah. I mean the female fight, and it was, I mean, because that was one of the better fights. And the Ramos so it was the Serrano,
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good fight too as well.
And that was the only good fight I saw all night. And again, if this is what the NFL has to look forward to on Christmas Day, again, as far as I know, Netflix is producing this whole thing themselves, because the announcers were awful on Netflix. I thought, even without the buffering, the whole production of the thing was just not hardly.
They may as well hire us. We would do a better job of announcing, I promise you.
I think so too.
When I saw Cedric, and I like Cedric Entertainer, I like his show on CBS, actually, The Neighborhood. It's very funny, but
yeah, I
did not expect him to see him there as a boxing expert. So anyway, it was very interesting, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on that. I just think Netflix has got to get this straightened out before Christmas Day if they want to continue a relationship with the NFL, for sure.
But
Absolutely.
Before we move on, we talked about this, in the spring when everything was up for debate, all this competition for, streaming this game and that game. And it's almost like you don't even need DirecTV no more. You need like 10 different streaming services, which will cost just as much as Direct. By the time you get all these streaming services to watch a game, then like it's screwed. And for me, I don't have streaming services to watch the games. I just happen to have like Peacock and Paramount because I like certain shows from there, kind of like The Neighborhood is on, Paramount.
Yeah.
And I'm never on time when they air. So I like to watch, the DVR versions and stuff. So that's my way of catching up. But this is going to be horrible. I mean, you guys went nuts to bolts to try to get this aired on your platform, and now you got more complaints than ever. And before this happened, I'm gonna be honest, I never heard people complain about Netflix until now. So this is going to be huge. And then this is also the time that they raised their price from like $9.99 to $11.99, and they put parameters in place where you can't share your stream with family members anymore. So for them to be doing all of that and then bomb like that is crazy.
Yeah, I think the $11.95 is also with commercials, by the way, because with
ads. You're right. I forgot.
Yeah, without commercials is about $18.95. I think that's what I pay. And I pay for too many. And hello, I want to say hello to Steve-O and Jeremy, who's been commenting and made some nice comments, obviously about Sonia, and then not about us guys, of course. But that's okay. CA's with us, Steve's with it, or I'm sorry, Rick is with us. So we're happy to have you guys with us. I've seen all your comments here. I have way too many streaming services myself, and every time I try to pare them down, and then I find bundles. I gotta switch out all the time because the bundles change, and geez. And I've never had trouble with Netflix either, but they paid $150 million for these two games. $75 million a piece for these two games on Christmas Day. They better not have a travesty like they had Friday night.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Anyway, let's move on to some real sports talk, I guess. I'm sorry, good thing Jack's not with us, I guess. I gotta believe Jack would feel the same way. Jack Hirsch, our
Jack is resting. Jack is resting because Jack is gonna be on with me tonight at 9:00. So he's saving all his stuff up to stay at 9:00. So make sure
you better buzz his phone about 1:15, wake him up or something.
He and I talked about the fight on Sports Memories, and yes, so I believe he concurs with everything that we're saying.
Gosh, it was just terrible. Anyway, let's move on to the real world.
You're muted. You muted yourself.
Sorry about that. It's funny. I get a little blip every once in a while, and then I'm muted when I come back. It's very odd. Anyway, thank you. Joe Douglas gets fired today after Robert Saleh bit the dust a month ago. I'm sure it was only a matter of time. Does the timing surprise you guys? The timing surprises me a little bit. It's obviously the Jets are going to clean house, and with Douglas gone and Saleh gone previously, where do the Jets go from here? Are they really going to roll this back again with Rodgers next year? I can't see it happening. What are your thoughts, James?
I mean, what's Rodgers' contract look like? I think that's the biggest question. Is he year to year?
Well, somebody told me he's got another year he's got an option for $40 million, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. To me, I'd eat the $40 million and just for him to go away at this point.
I mean, look at what happened to Russell Wilson. I mean, they really wanted him gone that bad. They were willing to eat $89 million in dead money. So, I mean, I definitely could see them doing the same thing for Rodgers, because at this juncture, Rodgers just looks like he doesn't even look a fraction of what Russell is right now. I mean, I think the situation may be just bad chemistry, bad connection with everybody. It was Saleh, it was Douglas, it was Rodgers. It was just and let's not forget the Jets' history. This is not the first time this has happened. We're talking about Brett Favre, him having his own locker room and all this kind of stuff. So let's not just make it seem like this is the first time this has happened. This is just history with the Jets organization. So, I mean, what are they going to do? Start for, the drawing board? Go back to the drawing board, I guess? We'll see.
Well,
go ahead, Sonia.
It says Aaron Rodgers is under contract. I looked while you all were discussing that. Aaron Rodgers is under contract through 2025, which means he doesn't become a free agent until he's 43 years old in 2026. But I also saw earlier today that there still may be a possibility of him being shopped elsewhere next year, especially now that the GM's been gone. He's gonna be due, barring him retiring, he's gonna be due $23.5 million in 2025, which is the final year of his restructured 3-year contract. So he came in I think at first year to year or 2 years, but he had according to CBS Sports, he had a restructured 3-year deal. And this is going to be his 21st season if he returns. And now it's like he's now turning 40, and for the first time, his Hall of Fame career is being jeopardized. And so I don't know. He's got a 63.4% completion rate, 6.43 yards attempts, very low, only 2,442 yards to date. And so he's just not looking good, despite him getting new coaches, getting coaches fired, bringing running backs, bringing water boys, bringing mascots, bringing pieces of cheese from Green Bay. He still is not able to do it. He's a coach killer and now a GM killer. Ugh.
He should have brought the magic mushrooms. It would have been better, I think, to bring them and leave everything else.
Shit type mushrooms that he was partaking in the preseason.
I guess the big number that we need to know is for the new GM, if they do cut him and decide to part ways, what's the cap hit for them? Is it $25 million or is it something less? Because I may consider doing, as James said, the Broncos bit the dust or bit the bullet with Wilson.
Russell. Yeah,
and maybe the Jets have to do the same thing. But then you have to find a quarterback too. And again, it's not a great quarterback class. I do see somebody put up here. We talk about Belichick. This is Jeremy. I don't think Belichick's going to the Jets after his history with the Jet organization, as brief as it was as the head coach for about 7 minutes. Prime and Shador going together. There's a lot of rumors about Prime and Shador going together as a package somewhere.
I don't want no more father-son sports duos. I'm sick of it. Oh, my God.
I don't think Prime's going anywhere myself. But what about, there's other coaches in trouble too. And there's going to be a lot of jobs open besides this one. The Giants.
Yeah.
Eberflus may end up going there. I don't know if it'll help, but he's definitely on the hot seat. McCarthy probably won't even finish the season. I mean, his buns have got to be smoking right now. He's on the hot seat so far.
That's where the hottest Deion rumors are, is in Dallas.
Yep.
And it just doesn't feel like a great fit to me. If I'm Deion, I'm staying in Colorado. You know, where I'm starting to finally, and I had to have to shut up about what I said. I didn't think this team would be anything this year, and they control their own destiny here as far as getting.
I know. I was wrong too.
He's done a great job. I mean, I said the same thing when I went to Jackson State. I thought it was going to be a circus, and he's really done well. Maybe I wouldn't doubt his whole plan would be to be in the NFL at some point. But I don't know if he's ready or not. James, looks like you want to add something there.
Yeah, I think Deion Sanders' plan is probably not to stay in Colorado, but to move to another Power 5 school, to an actual Power 5 school. I mean, like, say, for instance, we're talking our Florida State, where where he got turned down. But I think the key first is to turn Colorado into a powerhouse first. Or at least have some redemption there, because Colorado had some prominence back in the 80s and 90s. You know, they were actually a pretty decent team. They had some pretty decent teams when we were talking about Cordell Stewart, Michael Westbrook, you know, Eric Bieniemy and those guys back in the day. You know, so
he was a coach. They had a really good team. Yes.
And so Deion Sanders, I mean, I think this is the prime time, no pun intended, for him to be in a situation where he can actually flip this thing around, which he is. I mean, 4 wins last year, 8 wins this year, and who knows what the future holds for this team right now, especially with some of the guys that are going to be gone. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of people this year, you know, including some people on the offensive and defensive line. But they have a bright future, Colorado, and I think it has Deion Sanders in that future.
Unless he wants to move on.
He's always using my colloquialisms. He's been around me too long. I've rubbed off on you. I've noticed it several weeks now, and I have to say something. You've been around me too long, little bro.
And it actually wasn't intended. I just thought, like, okay.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's natural. You don't even intend it. It's just you've been around me.
We got a couple other comments here. Jeremy talking about Rodgers going to the Vikings next year. I don't think that'll be it, but the Favre plan, I think he's being facetious there. And he said they can't move Rodgers until after 6-1. I would think they can cut him anytime they want, but again, sometimes I get it. Some of the player or the contractual things are kind of weird. So, and that's late to be able to have to make a move with that kind of money in a quarterback. If you have to wait till June, I mean, you're getting into training camp almost, so that's weird.
Well, the post June 1 is usually when you get a significant drop in salary cap or dead cap money. But
yeah,
you know, it's still going to be a big hit. I don't care when they drop him. That's still a lot. They're going to get hit.
Seal says, don't blame the owner. How do you not blame the owner? At some point, I blame Jerry Jones all the time in Dallas. How do you leave Woody Johnson out of the equation when it's coach after coach, quarterback after quarterback? There's mistakes made right and left, and it's just bad karma in this whole organization. I have to blame the owner at some point. I mean, he's making the move.
Ultimately, you hire everybody. I mean, yeah. It's on you at some point.
Who do we talk about? We talked about the Bears. We've talked about starting over every 3 years, and the Jets, it feels like they do the same thing, and they haven't they've barely made the playoffs in the last 60 years almost since they won a Super Bowl. So
I counted up the teams, Keith. I counted up the teams the other day. I'm trying to think who I was on. It might have been me and J Train talking about. We counted up the teams that are equal to or worse than the Panthers. And this is one of those seasons that it looks like everybody is rebuilding. And I don't know if it's an NFL, like, I don't want to say it's a glitch. I mean, it has to be something with these freshmen and these rookies that are coming out to these teams, these veterans that are getting hurt, that are, retiring, that are leaving the game. I mean, it's literally changing. It's almost like, if you think about it like this, if all your rookies coming out right now are not top tier, and next year they're not top tier, and the next year they're not top tier, you're looking at a sabbatical for the league as a whole at some point where only one or two teams are going to be way ahead of the curve, where everybody else is just barely hitting 500, if that, and it's going to make for a boring game.
The NFL seems like a third world country almost, where you have this elite class that's there, and then you just have a significant drop off to everybody else. As it just almost seems like this poor class of teams where everybody's 2 and 8. It's like, wow, where's all this coming from? There's a lot
it
of 2
feels great because they can't talk ish about us right now. It feels great for a Panthers fan because we're like, oh, well, join the club. We've been waiting on you. We're over here serving, donuts and coffee and been just waiting on some couch mates. And here you guys go. Everybody. All of us on here. Keith, you, J Train, you. I mean, all of us. I'm feeling so welcome now.
Oh,
Well, I'm feeling great being here like you are, but that's I don't want to get comfortable here like the Panthers are.
I don't either, but it just,
Oh gosh, Mike Vrabel. There's going to be a lot of coaches. Sonia, you brought up coaches earlier, and I don't remember what vein something you wanted to talk about today. But since we're on the NFL, there's going to be. We've already got Saleh out. Is anybody? He's the only head coach fired, I think, so far, right? But
no, Dennis Allen.
Oh, Dennis Allen, right? How did I forget him?
Yeah, the Panthers got that
The
done.
Rizzler's on fire now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and you may see 6 or 7 more go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be gone.
Black Monday is coming really quick. Like people don't realize, and they don't even wait to Black Monday anymore. But that's still coming real quick. What's that, next month, right?
Well, I'll be I think January probably.
Yeah.
Last
They
week.
listen.
But you're right,
They
Sonya.
wait.
There's no patience. There's no patience anymore.
Yeah, there's not. They cut Ron Rivera like right around Thanksgiving, and we were like baffled. And ever since then, it's been a downward trend. So I mean, I think McCarthy he may be out before the week, y'all, because Jerry Jones is just getting more and more disgusted. They've lost 6 games at home in a row. And that means they lost 1 last year at home.
Yeah.
And then this whole season, they have not won at home. That is horrible.
I got to tell you, though, and we talked about this before, Sonia, I think you've been involved in it. I know James has. I'm not in favor of firing coaches during the season because unless I got a chance to make the playoffs or something, because you get somebody in there. Antonio Pierce is the poster boy for why you don't want an interim coach, because he comes in, has a little bit of success, the players like him, and then you almost are stuck with him. And that's what happened to the Raiders this year. And he's like, in my mind, he's likely to get fired. So I'm not firing McCarthy and take the chance that the Cowboys go win 3 of their last 4 and Mike Zimmer's the new head coach next year or something, whoever might be the interim.
Well, the good thing about Mike Zimmer, though, is he's from the Vikings, and he is a championship caliber coach. It's not like you're promoting like how J Train said. I don't even know who their interim coach is. Somebody that coached.
It's the Rizzler. Let's Darren Rizzi, the Rizzler, the special teams coach.
See, that's what I'm saying. Special teams. The only thing he did was pass out Gatorade and ice packs.
Yeah, you know what? Special team coaches make some of the best head coaches, by the way. Marv Levy. Harbaugh, John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got me on that one.
They make some great head coaches. But again, I worry about interims. Well, we probably won't need to worry about Rizzi getting the job there in New Orleans, or who's the I don't even know I can't remember the guy's name in New York, but I don't think he's getting that job. They're going to go for a name probably in New York. You've gone on assistant coaches a bunch of times now. It doesn't work. So usually you're kind of going, one time you try an established coach, and now you try an assistant coach, one of the rising head coach or assistant coaches. I don't know. The Jets might go Mike Vrabel way, but does Mike Vrabel's going to have his pick of whatever job he wants, in my mind.
I
Is
think
he really though?
Yeah, I think so. But I think a lot of teams are leaning more towards the offensive-minded coach, the younger guy. We're talking Sean McVay, Shanahan from that ilk. Some Ben Johnson, who's a name that's been thrown around out there. He's going to get a job somewhere, because you look at what he's doing with Detroit. They're just on fire offensively. So of course, you want to get a guy like that, to start up your team. Maybe you get a good GM, and you draft some young talent there in your team. The Saints, and he's going to have to pick of the litter. And I know a dream destination is definitely not going to be New Orleans with the salary cap hell that they're in, and their old GM. A lot of things the Saints need to do is get rid of the Sean Payton era. They need to wash clean of all of that and just let it go. He's gone. He did everything he could there. He's gone now. Drew Brees is gone now. Got to start a whole new regime and start a whole new era.
You know how to do that, right? The Panthers did it when they let Ron Rivera go. They started letting go of everybody. Like either they let him go or people left. Like next thing you know, they were letting Greg Olsen go. They let Cam go, and Cam was like, "Hold on, y'all. Don't say this was amicable. That this is something I came to y'all with. Y'all fired me." And then after that, Luke Kuechly went ahead and left because they were like, "Hey, Ron's gone." And so after that, they literally started getting rid of all the assistant coaches. I think they got rid of the original Sir Purr and brought another Sir Purr in, Sir Purr the second. They got rid of parking attendants. Everybody that worked at BOA had to go.
Well, there's going to be a lot of jobs open again this year. Who do you guys? I mean, is there a guy that you guys think will definitely? I think Mike Vrabel definitely gets hired. I think Belichick gets hired in this next series moves. But who else?
What about Pete Carroll? Is Pete Carroll done? Is he not trying to come back?
Yeah, Pete Carroll's the oldest. Was the oldest coach in the NFL when he doesn't look like it, but he
was only like a few months older than Belichick.
Just a little bit, yeah. He'll be 73 if he were to start, I think, next year. So
yeah, he's somewhere. I've been waiting on his gum commercials to come out because I know he has the freshest breath in the NFL.
I'll tell you this: if Pete Carroll comes back, you know where I could see Pete Carroll being a fit in Dallas, and because he wants to coach, I don't think he wants to do the rest. And I think he's a guy who would be a refreshing, different type of head coach in Dallas than what they've tried to do before. If they want to try something really different, I would try to talk Pete Carroll into come in there. It's a short window, but same thing with Belichick, right? You got to win in a couple of years if you want to win, because they're not staying for 5 or 6 or 7 years.
How old is Jerry?
Jerry's about 111, I think, or something.
Yeah, he ain't signing nobody for 5 years. They're getting a year-to-year contract from now on with Jerry.
Jerry, did you see Jerry at the fight? It looked like Weekend at Bernie's. I don't know who was holding him up.
He's traveling with a portable defibrillator these days.
Oh my goodness! Yes, probably a colostomy bag. I hate to even hear all that.
And an EpiPen in case somebody dashes some peanuts on him or something.
I'm going to get to a couple of these comments, but I got a question for Sonia right after we get through these. Danny Dimes to the Jets. Listen, I don't know where Danny Dimes is going, but he's probably going to be getting dimes when somebody renegotiates his contract for sure. Jerry said Mike's there for the rest of the season.
I don't believe that.
He's not happy.
Does that all the time.
They're not going anywhere. You might as well just stick it out with what you got. Dead cap drops to $28 million and saves 14. This is still on Rodgers, I think. If they wait till 6-1, he was talking about $28 million in dead cap space for him. Not worth it. Have you? What does that say? Have you started to run? I don't know what that means.
Jack comes on at 9 o'clock. If that's what you're saying, I don't know who these.
I don't know what he was saying.
Again,
these perf guys, Jesus, I can't. I'm a perf guy, and I can't understand what he's saying. Rodgers is Kenny for the 49ers says Rodgers is canning fodder. Well, he stinks. So, what he says, best team the Jets have had in 25 years. That he fires everybody. About 60 years. Chris Upgrade is with us from Canada, above the border here. Happy birthday to Rudy Tersh. Chris comes up with the best. He'd be 130 years old. Happy birthday, Rudy. Jets are never coming back. On paper, the Jets roster look. We get a lot of comments here. On paper,
they really did look good on paper, man.
I felt for that 2 years in a row. I felt for this. Last year, I get because of Rodgers getting hurt, but man, played fantasy too long. Trust in the opener. Panthers. Oh, here you go. Hold on. We got Panthers comment up here from Jeremy. Panthers need to smack the Chiefs.
Oh, we are. I hope they know it. That's going to be 3 in a row, honey. And we are coming. And let me tell you, when we beat the Chiefs, Don't none of y'all say Nathan.
Hey, Linda's here with a Mac update. He's on the road to recovery, soon to be on injured reserve. Well, he's on injured reserve now. Hopefully, something above that. So,
Road
we're,
recovery.
we're glad to hear he's doing well, Linda, and thanks for popping in. Let us know for sure. I'm going to, guys, I don't want to skip your comments, but I got to move on a little bit. Before I do, I didn't jot this down, but I saw this article today. Eli Manning is up for Hall of Fame potential induction this year. He's one of the, I think he's, I don't know. There's so many different lists, and you got to go through so many stages in the NFL. Their way they pick Hall of Famers is ridiculous, by the way. But Cam Newton said, did you see this, Sonia? Cam Newton said, if Eli Manning gets in the Hall of Fame, then they need to put him in twice, meaning Cam.
Yeah.
Cam Newton was a Hall of Famer before Eli Manning. I think Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls, so last I remember, because I saw them up close. I don't remember Cam winning any, and kind of, being a reason they didn't win.
So wow.
I got to say, I'll let you go first.
So let's be clear. Great to see you too, Linda. Let's be clear.
Absolutely.
I did not see that comment. I have been super busy, and y'all know why. But I occasionally see stuff that Cam says. I don't agree with Cam has just been on himself lately. Like, seriously, he's always like, hey, I'm this, I'm that, I'm better than the other 31 quarterbacks in the league, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Cam, then get back out there and become a quarterback somewhere. Yes, he's the reason we lost. He's one of the reasons we lost the Super Bowl, because he didn't dive for the ball. I have yet to watch the entire Super Bowl, by the way. I got so upset. I've never watched the entire thing. Okay, so just there's that. Eli Manning, is it Eli or Peyton? Who would he say is in there?
Eli Manning's our NFL fame.
Eli Manning. Yeah, but I think Cam is just basing it off of him being the number one, if he still has this record, the number one rushing quarterback of all times. I mean, he definitely is a Hall of Famer for some stuff, but Eli Manning, that's going to be a tall stretch for me to say, Cam is above Eli. Like, that's a big stretch for me.
Big stretch. I mean, 2 Super Bowls. Most guys who win 2 Super Bowls get in the Hall of Fame. The only guy I can think of off the top of my head with 2 Super Bowl victories that's not in the Hall of Fame is Jim Plunkett.
Yeah. Look, you don't have to be the best quarterback. I think you just have to have some luck and have the right time. Yeah. I've watched Eli Manning from his days at Ole Miss, and he's streaky. He's a streaky quarterback. He has stretches where he is like, what is he thinking? But then he has these runs. I remember specifically in 2007, I said, when I saw Eli in the first playoff game, well, not in the first playoff game, let's get it clear. One of the regular season games against the Patriots, and I saw him and Plaxico Burress. I said, you know what? They're about to have a run. They look really good here. And of course, the Patriots won that game and they went undefeated in the regular season. But then here comes the Giants, man. They look great. And part of it, a big part of it, Eli doesn't play defense. The defense of the Giants is what really helped them win the Super Bowl. But and like I said, luck. There's a couple of, like, that one interception by Asante Samuel ends the game if he catches it in bounds. I mean, it was a lot of things, but don't get me wrong. Eli Manning still won. He still was a part of it. He still won the Super Bowls. Now, the 2011, that was him. He was the clutchest quarterback I saw in that game. Of the 2 quarterbacks, Eli was clutching that to Mario Manningham. That was a very clutch game. So my point.
Yeah, in both Super Bowls, he led them to game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. I mean, that means something against.
It does, and I was going to say, my point in saying that is that I would pick. I don't think neither one are first ballot Hall of Famers, both Cam and Eli. But if I had to choose one first, I would choose Eli Manning first before Cam.
I mean, but Cam had a passer rating that was higher than Eli's. But he had 32,000 yards, and Eli had like 57,000. I think Eli played longer or something.
play style is different. His career span is much shorter because of the style of play that he
He's
has.
a running quarterback.
Oh
He's
man,
a
at his peak, though, let
quarterback.
me tell you, at Cam's peak in 2015, there was
Oh,
nobody else better than him. There was nobody else better than him.
And Jeremy says he was great for 3 years, which I kind of agree. He had some great years, but not a great career. He had some great years, not a great career.
No,
I couldn't even watch the comment. I had to turn my camera off. That's a heartbreak for me. I can never talk about 2015 and not just like God.
Well, here's the thing. This is what separates when you talk about an Eli Manning, and again, I don't want to compare him to Tom Brady or whomever else. Quarterbacks, and again, the defense, James is absolutely right. 2007, the defense won that game. I would say the same thing probably about 2012. The defense kept them in that game, but Eli led the game-winning drives that won those games, and that's what people remember. Cam had a chance in 2015 and didn't do it. That was a close ball game, and he had a chance to do that, and that would have been a signature moment, and he failed.
Oh, what he's going to be remembered for that year is that fumble that happened, and he elected not to grab it.
That's gonna help.
Well,
people remember those things.
Yeah,
obviously Sonia remembers it.
I know she
I
saw
don't
that.
think that's all he's going to be remembered for. I think he's going to be remembered for his Dandor hat that he had earlier this year with all those kids attacking him, and the hat stayed in place. That's what he's going to be remembered for. And having all these kids by different women, that's what he's going to be remembered for.
Looks like he's going to star in a remake of Crocodile Dundee with the outfit he's wearing there with that hat.
That Dandor hat was everything, the real MVP. No, I love Cam. Cam is my favorite athlete, and you know, I've met him, and sometimes he used to interact with my pages. So let me put the positive part out here now in case Cam does see this. Cam, you're still my favorite athlete. We miss you in Carolina. There's a whole gang of people that still feel the same way about you. And we feel like he got a raw deal by being X from the team. The team has not been the same since he left, real talk.
Well, that part is true. I'll give you that part. I'll give, that hasn't been the same for sure. Michael Gott across the pond in the UK is stopping in to say hi. One of our
hello, mate.
Loyal followers across the pond. I never get that, but I don't know what Steve-O's talking about here. It's really bad. Yeah,
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, go back to that comment.
This doctor was on his show and laid into him. Him of creating broken homes. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, she said he talked about he was a proponent of the community and stuff, and I didn't even see the whole thing, but just bits and pieces I read. And he's always talking about increasing presence for little boys, especially black males in the community and all that stuff. And dude, you are contributing to the broken homeless. Like, where I bought my house is in the area where Cam used to live, right down the street. So I'm always seeing, home of Cam Newton, signs when I drive like near my subdivision. And every time I think about it, like, this lady literally, as Steve-O said, schooled him.
Maybe should have been NBA, that would be a Hall of Fame criteria if you have an update.
Oh God, everybody's gonna start coming in for Cam now. Let's move on, people.
Ascot. I see the word Ascot, I get all excited. So Cam, and we'll say hi to Daniel Barry. Let's move on to tomorrow night's game. We do have a football coming up this week. We're going to kick it off with the Steelers, the surprising Steelers, who have continued to win after putting Russell Wilson in, and again, a move I was not in favor of, but seems to have worked out okay. I mean, his numbers aren't probably any better than Fields, but I think the team is a little bit more stable under Wilson, excuse me. And they're playing the hapless Cleveland Browns tomorrow night. Are you guys excited about this game? What excites you about this game? The Steelers are in first place by a game over the Ravens. The Browns 2-8, fighting. Maybe they're tanking. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second too, I guess. But anything exciting for you in this game, Sonia?
Yeah, I just want to say, so just from a perspective of, let me just back up for a second. The maturation of the Steelers under Russell Wilson, he's the true leader that they needed under Tomlin. He's the literally the Robin to Tomlin being Batman for that team. We've seen the Steelers make crazy mistakes, but they've had all the pieces in place. And just, Justin Fields, even though he's been in the league a couple of years, just some things that Russell Wilson just brings as a veteran in the league that I think that's what literally is making the Steelers, return to their steel curtain days and all this good stuff, because the maturity is there. They're definitely able to play. This is going to be a blowout game. Deshaun Watson is out again. I thought I heard they said they were talking about bringing DTR back. Who's playing tomorrow night as quarterback? Oh, Jameis Winston.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
Crab
Winston.
legs himself. I don't know. Jameis might show up tomorrow. Is this game in Pittsburgh or in Cleveland?
This game is in Cleveland, I want to say.
Okay, well, Nick Chubb is back. Nick looks good. I think if it's in Cleveland, I don't think it's going to be 14 points. I think it may be 7.
Steelers are only 3.5-point favorites in this game. That looks pretty good to me.
Let me say, this is a divisional game, so you can't never count that out between two divisional teams. Like we could say, it could be a 2-7 team versus a 8 or 7-2 team, and they play each other just like they were. Like there's no differences in the records because they're going all at it. There's just a lot of bad blood, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams. And let me tell you, Jameis Winston, regardless of their loss, they lost 35-17 against my Saints, and I was very surprised by that score. But Jameis Winston threw for almost 400 yards and 2 TDs and no interceptions. So you're going to see a good side of Jameis Winston. You're going to see, having my experience of watching him as quarterback with Tampa Bay playing against them and also him playing for the Saints. You're going to see that 30 for 30 come out here and there. Jameis Winston, just if people forget, he was the first overall draft pick and, Heisman Trophy winner, championship quarterback in NCAA, Florida State. So Jameis has potential. He has skill. He just sometimes just make bad decisions. If you don't put the right pieces around and put people in place. Look, let me say this. You can't really name their number one receiver in their game. And again, a guy threw for 395 yards and 2 TDs. You can't even name who their number one receiver is. Besides Jerry Jeudy.
Jeudy.
Say it again?
Jerry Jeudy is not very good either. So
right, exactly. So I think this game's going to be close, and I like Russell Wilson. I like what Sonia said about Russell Wilson being a leader there. I just think that having a team under Mike Tomlin, that the Steelers, they look playoff ready. They look like a team that can run the ball. They got good special teams, and they got good defense. And then Russell Wilson just does what he controls the clock, and he can get when you need a good pass with touch. Maybe those moon balls he throws to George Pickens and now they got Mike Williams there and he's got his tight end Washington there. They look tough, like they're made for January.
Yeah, I think Williams is a great pickup by this team. I'm probably not paying a lot of his contract, I'm guessing. So I think this is a great move for them and for Wilson. I like the Steelers to win this game myself. I think maybe a couple touchdowns or 10. Certainly more than 3.5.
I got 2017 Steelers. I like the Steelers, but I think it's going to be
2017.
Yeah,
Close game. I got 21-14. I think it's gonna be a whole touchdown. Let me ask you guys a question.
Yep.
So what happens with Justin Fields? Does he just fade into the sunset as a backup?
It's entirely possible now. I mean, there will be teams looking for a quarterback next year, but how many chances is he going to get? I don't know.
To me, he looks like, and if he has any common sense, he just needs to take a page. They need to take a page, which I think they did a little bit, out of what the Saints do with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill had 3 carries, had 138 yards.
Yeah.
And he threw like 15. He threw a pass for 18 yards, and he caught some yards. I mean, so he's a utility guy. I can see the same thing.
True position. What is Taysom Hill's true position?
Like tight end.
He's a quarterback in college, and
what was he drafted as?
Undrafted quarterback.
Yeah.
He was
Really?
I
He
think
is the jack of all trades.
isn't he listed as like a tight end or something though right now?
He's listed at tight end or H back, yes.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he's in tight end, but yeah, he does everything. And he plays running back, he plays tight end, he plays the quarterback.
Yeah, he's
and
the
he does
most
all-
talented player in the league. Real talk. Like I don't like him because he comes up with all these trick plays. But you gotta be like, he literally is the most versatile player that I could think of in the league right now.
Sonia, he's a unicorn, and he's a unicorn that's 34 years old. That's still doing it at 34.
Wow.
He's
Yeah.
he's a guy that's would really stand out on a really good team, but he gets
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. Thanks, Keith, for reminding me of that.
I don't mean
Great
to take
comment.
his
Love
face,
it,
but
Keith.
he would be a star if he was
Yeah,
playing.
if he played for like the Chiefs or something. Yeah, if he played for Chiefs,
Ooh.
he'd be,
Can you
Wow.
imagine Mahomes with that guy?
yeah.
Oh,
Swiss Army knife. It'd be.
I try not
be
even think
careful. They
about it.
might call him up. Be careful. They might call him up. The Chiefs is paying folks to come out there.
They are. And Sonia, you mentioned earlier all the two-win teams and 3-win teams, and we talk about this from now and again. And I've got a friend of mine who doesn't want the Patriots to win any more games because we want a higher draft pick. I will never root for my team to lose. I don't think people want to lose games. I'm sure organizations would rather lose sometimes, but they can't control that. But fans, I don't get fans. I do not understand fans who root for their team to lose ever.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
I mean,
I see
hold
it
on.
all the time.
Hold
I
on.
mean,
Hold on. Hold on.
I mean, so
Hold
many
on.
group chats. They just want the number. Every year you want the number one, but you're doing nothing with that number one every year.
There's that too.
I mean, but wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's get a little bit of revisionist history here. Let's go back to when Peyton Manning was not doing well, and they were going to trade him off, and in Indianapolis, and the signs were said "suck for luck." I remember that. I never forget that. And they did. And when they got him, it was a 180. As a rookie, they went to the playoffs. They nearly went to the divisional round or something like that. It was something crazy. I mean, Luck, if he wasn't hurt, and maybe if he wasn't in such a bad organization, they would have been. I mean, Andrew Luck was a excellent player, and they happened to they sucked for him for sure. They tanked clearly, and they got him, and it worked out to some degree. But I mean, I could see why somebody would want to get somebody, But I get what you're saying, Keith. You should not quit. You should play.
And you, as a fan, would you root for your team to lose?
I don't ever root for them to lose.
I can't do it.
Even
So you
when we
telling
were
me,
trying to get
You're telling
Bryce
me if you
Young,
knew,
I
let's
was
just-
like,
let's-
I do not want to lose out. I don't want that.
Keith, if you were on the brink, let's just go back. Let's go back a little bit. Let's just say if you knew Tom Brady, what he was going to be, and let's just say he was a standout Michigan player, and you knew who he was, and your team was that close, and you may be 1 or 2 games away from getting a pick that would solidify that you would take Tom Brady. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't want to say, you know what? Let's lose 1 or 2 games so we can get this guy. And
The problem with that theory is unless you have the vision.
Exactly.
Looking back is easy, right? Looking forward, they're almost always wrong on who
Well,
these guys.
I would say most people knew Dan Marino was a shoe-in coming out of Pitt.
How come 6 quarterbacks got picked ahead of him, or 5 quarterbacks got picked ahead of him?
Oh, those
Same
are
with
bad.
Tom Brady. Same with Tom Brady.
Well,
Tom
Well,
was not
I knew. I
being
changed around
No
with Tom
one
Brady.
thought he was going to be that
Nobody
good.
knew what Tom Brady was. No one knew.
Joe Montana, 2nd-round draft pick, right? I mean, how many guys who are great quarterbacks were drafted picked at the top of the draft? Only a handful.
But Joe
I mean,
Montana was really good at
look at CJ Stroud
Joe
last
Montana really-
year.
Wasn't Joe Montana really good at Notre Dame?
He was, but he's a 2nd-round draft pick.
Yeah, but I
mean,
think the guy that knew that he was going to be something was the guy who drafted him. I mean,
Well, I mean, even look at CJ Stroud last year. He was taken 2nd. Everybody thought the Panthers were going to take him 1st. CJ Stroud today, with the sophomore slump, would have been the CJ Stroud the Panthers saw last year had we picked him. So it doesn't mean anything. I mean, we always talk about the acclimation from the college world to the NFL. You could ball all the way out. Bryce is a Heisman Trophy winner, all this stuff. And with the team you get with, no one knows. So saying, let me tank to get this person is just going to be one big tank with your new person as well.
And go back to what we said, Keith. I think what really boils down to, it means that what it boils down to is that when you have someone like Sean Payton or Andy Reid, those two were going after Mahomes. They knew what Mahomes was. Most teams did not. They knew what they wanted for their specific schemes. Sean Payton was going to draft him at 11, and I mean the Chiefs moved up and got him, and so we took we ended up taking Marshawn Lattimore at that pick. Yes,
right. And Michael Gott, by the way, is impressed with Nick. And Michael, by the way, just to mention quickly, a while back, Michael had talked about Cam, and we're moving on from Cam comments, and it was about him being the best college quarterback. Michael, bring that to the college football show, because I can name about 8 guys that are better college quarterbacks than Cam was. So we can talk about that in the college football huddle one night for sure.
He means ever? Did he mean ever?
Best college quarterback ever. Okay, he said.
Oh no. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to tune in on that as well. I will chime in on that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I would give him top 5. I would put Cam in top 5.
I'm not sure I can get that high. Maybe if I do a little, I got to think on it a little bit, but I think I'd come up with 5 guys better than him for sure. Jeremy does want to know what we think about his Motor City Kitties going in.
Honey, they are tearing it up. Give me D Tweezy all day. Them dudes is not Motor City Kitties. They are Thundercats. You hear me? Thundercats. Whoa! Yes, big He-Man, big Thundercat, all that fan from the 80s and 90s.
I see maybe a new Lion fan amongst us. Maybe the Panthers will get pushed aside here.
Oh, you must have missed that, Keith. So J-Train will tell you a couple of weeks ago, actually a month ago. It's been like a month ago. On Mac's show on Sunday, I literally have full-fledged become a self-proclaimed supporter of the Lions because they are kitties. They are part of the feline family. I'm still a Panthers fan, but so that I can enjoy the game, I'm rooting for Detroit all the way. And if they win the Super Bowl, I will be getting a shirt. I will be getting a shirt and wearing it publicly.
Jeremy, are you going to accept Sonia as a honorary kneecap biter, or is this just bandwagon jumping?
I got my pen ready for the application.
For sure.
I got my pen ready for the bandwagoner application right here.
He hopes Steve-O hopes they'll win some and they get to the 49ers, they'll sit everybody. I don't know. It's a little early don't they play him pretty soon? I don't think they're going to set people now. I don't know when they play.
Soon for that.
Lions have one of their circled revenge games. Dan Campbell said it will be BTA. I'm not sure I'm not good with acronyms. What is that? Anybody help me out here? Come on, Jeremy.
Beat that A.
Yeah. Oh, BTS. Oh, there it is. Never mind. There you go.
Belt to A.
All right.
Hey, hold on, Keith. Yeah. Lions fan, did you accept me kneecap biting? He asked you that you didn't announce.
I'm looking to see. Maybe. By the way, there was a comment about Ben Johnson. I don't know if it might have been Jeremy, that Ben Johnson will never be head coach as he doesn't want to be. At some point, you're going to want the money that head coaches make. He's going to take the jump at some point. Maybe he's happy now, but that won't last forever.
Corleone is coming to him at some point. They're going to give him an offer that he can't refuse.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't jumped yet. I get what Jeremy's saying about him being comfortable. He's got a young family. That won't last forever, man. Somebody's going to say, here's $8, $9, $10 million and see you later.
Yep.
Because you don't want to worry about your future and your family's future. And that's where it's going to be. You only need to coach a couple of years at that kind of money and you're set.
Thanks, Rob.
But Keith, some people are really just comfortable as being coordinators. I mean, who's the longtime Pittsburgh Steelers defensive coordinator that was with them? Yeah, Dick LeBeau, for sure. He never. I mean, he could have left anytime. And
He was with the Bengals for a long time. He was with, I think, the Bengals, and then he was with the Steelers, I think, after that.
right.
Yeah, he probably could have got a head coaching job a few times, I'm sure. But again, maybe they weren't good situations either. I don't blame Ben Johnson for waiting for the right moment, right? Sometimes you're mulling past the eye, right? Who's the offensive coordinator for the Texans? I mean, he was a hot name last year, and right now he's maybe job might be on the line. I can't think of his name right now. But he's had some injuries. He's had some injuries. But we only got a couple minutes left. We only spent time on a couple
hold
of
on. So, Robert, let's be clear. I'm still owning my team, but I do want to support the Lions because they made me happy during this season. Okay, so don't come for me, Mr. Tighten Up.
Robert and I don't necessarily agree on a lot of things. I think he's a Seattle guy, if I'm not mistaken. He comes on the MLB show now and again. We talk about the Mariners, but I don't root for other teams ever. I don't want anybody else to win. Well, I shouldn't say that. When I have money on teams, I will root for them.
I just want to enjoy the game. And right now, NFL season for the last 2 seasons has made me depressed, literally depressed. And I don't want to feel that way. So that's why I'm trying to find one team that looks great and they have a great storyline. I'm a sucker for a good storyline. And they just happen to be cats like us. So there you go. Okay.
Everybody's entitled to what they want to do. That's fine. It's not a big deal.
I'm going to start posting pictures of myself outside Ford Stadium when I visited years ago. I didn't go to a game, but I got a picture of myself outside the stadium. I'm going to start posting those and see what y'all got to say.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've never known Jeremy to be wrong, especially anything to do in Motor City. If Ben Johnson's making $13 million, and maybe that's why he's not going to move on, because he's probably not
a substantial amount of money. I
find that shocking, actually. But Jeremy is not one for hyperbole, so I would have to think he's probably right.
But not annually. I don't think that's annually.
I think a lot of these teams, but to Michael's question, who do you think team-wise will have the number one pick? It's still a lot of teams in play here, as Sonia said earlier. I think a lot of these teams will trade out of that spot. If somebody wants a quarterback, I don't think they're going to want to take one of these quarterbacks at the very one spot, or even in the top 5, maybe. So,
is Shedeur coming into this draft?
He is.
Yeah. And Travis.
He'll be the first quarterback gone, but in a
people
season,
may be trying to trade for him. Real talk, Keith. Like I could see James saying that they want their team to tank so they can bring Shedeur to New Orleans. Like that would really be fire for real, for real.
Steve is calling out Jeremy again. I don't know. He was given a raise this season to be the highest paid. He got to be the highest paid OC.
It must be his total contract. It's got to be the total contract, which is still a lot of money for an OC.
Well, for absolutely. Jesus, I'd be shocked Campbell was making $13 million.
Heck no. I'm not going to fly no bird coop to go over there. No, this is different, okay? And stop it, Robert. Stop drilling me about supporting the Lions.
We'll be on at 9:00 on this very Roku channel if you want to check her out and continue this conversation, Robert, for sure. Well, in the meantime, we're going to have to wrap it up because I got to get on to the college football huddle, and I thank you guys for helping me fill in for Mac.
Yeah.
I probably didn't keep things in control as well as Mac would, but that's okay. We had a lot of fun. That's all that matters. Thank you guys for popping in and contributing as many comments as you had. A lot of comments tonight. So real quick, I'll put a storyline for a Super Bowl would be Bills and Josh Allen. He thinks they deserve it. I'm sure they do too. And the Seahawks will still have to get past the Cardinals. We're going to move on for now. Guys, I really appreciate your helping me out tonight, and we will see you. I'll see you in just a few minutes with the College Football Huddle. What do you got going on tonight, Sonia?
Prim and Proper Sports at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here and on my YouTube and all that good stuff. You guys come on and say hello. Download the Roku app. Linda and Max, shout out, and good show to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Great. When are we going to see you, James? Friday night?
You'll see me Friday night, but I'll tune in tonight on your show and tune in Sonia's as well, as Jack is going to be on there.
Jack is going to be hosting. I'm co-hosting.
That's right. And I'm going to be on Sports Memories on Saturday morning, of course. Big football show Sunday.
Excellent. There you go. Thanks for popping in, everybody. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. And
We muted it again, so that's good night.
what happened? Hang on.